Great evening. How are you? It is officially 1914, also known as 714. For those that don't speak military. Hello, everyone. Hey, chosen ones. How art thou? To all my new subby buddies. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Everyone, come on in the room. What up, though? Welcome, friends. So as you see in here, still doing stuff, doing surgery, aka wrapping a box. Cause I told y'all I'm out of baskets, like literally. I have more stuff upstairs. Sometime this week, if I am not overly exhausted, we're gonna go to the lab and we're gonna see what we got going on up there. Cause I got baskets up there too. I just haven't brought everything down. But today, I wanted to come on and talk to you guys because you have been following my journey as far as the new job is concerned. Well, some things have changed. God has spoken. First of all, thank y'all for y'all prayers. Man, literally, his word say when 2 or 3 would gather. So I don't know how many of y'all was out there, but enough of y'all helped pray with me. So we gathered together. So thank you. So I want to come in and give an update while I'm wrapping this box. Hopefully this video is not going to be too long, pumpkin. But, so what had happened was, the last video that I put out, I literally was like, I'm not having it. I'm not feeling it. This ain't for me. So I literally asked God, because I told y'all I had a while before it was time for me to actually go to work. So I used that time to just sit outside and talk to God. And one of my favorite scriptures is be ye transformed by the renewing of thy mind. Now, please don't ask me which book that's located in, because I know enough scriptures of the Bible that gets me through. I can't pinpoint and say, turn with me and look to your neighbor. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I know just enough of the word that I know which scriptures kind of gets me through the day. Or, to what I need. So I remember asking God, clearly you gave me this job. Because if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have said yes and I wouldn't have got hired. So it was like, okay, well, God, show me then. If I'm supposed to be here, show me why and what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's not given. And y'all saw the title, okay? So I went in to work a little bit early, y'all, because I wanted to talk to management. Because that's the first thing they said. We open door. If you got any issues, come to us and let us know. Heard. I'm going to use that to my advantage today. But when I get to work, of course, doors is closed. Nobody's there to be found. Which I found out later on that at 2 o'clock they go into a management meeting because like the next shift is coming through. So that's their way of, getting everybody together of the day and how the day is going to start. But I didn't know that, okay? So I'm at work now about 2:20-ish because my shift starts at 3. And like I am in my feelings, guys, because I'm like, I can't find nobody, but yet they say, come in, door is open, but then I go in there and the door is closed, literally. So I'm like, okay, so the next best thing I did was I sent out an email because I was going to go in on my day off, but I found out that the manager who hired me was not going to be there. So I was told, just come in, early on your shift and definitely, we'll be available. So that's what I did. Y'all, so like I said, I get there and they're not there. I go upstairs to start my day, and mind you, on the schedule, I could see who I'm supposed to be working with. So I was supposed to be working with myself that day. The little guy that was training me, shout out to Daniel, y'all. That's gonna be my new boo. That's my work boo. Daniel is absolutely amazing. And Daniel has truly, God put him in position just for me. Okay. So, he came to work. And I looked at him and I was like, why you here? I thought you was off. He was like, I was. He said, but I asked Miss Samantha, which is our manager, if I can come in. And I was like, okay. And so he was like, he said, because I'm not feeling it. He said, and I want you to succeed because I know you belong here. He was like, so I feel like if I can't help you get to that next level, then that means I failed at my job, and I don't fail, pumpkin. That's how he said it. And I was like, no, do not put this on you. He said, no, I am. He said, because the moment you came in the door, we were all like, oh, she gonna be great. She got the right attitude. She got the right personality. She gonna be great. He said, but I haven't seen that part yet. He said, and, I asked Miss Samantha, can I just come in? Maybe if I get a chance to really work with her, then, maybe this will work. I don't know. But this baby told me, y'all, that he also prayed and asked God for guidance. He said he told God to help him help me push through. His words, not mine. So I'm like, what? So, y'all, I sent out an email to my hiring manager and to HR, because that's who told me. That's who they say you contact. So, remember, I told y'all when I came through, I couldn't get to nobody. So, I sent out the email, and I CC'd all them on it. I put everybody on it. And I was like, hiring manager, HR, and the floor manager of where we actually work. I put all of them in the email, and I was like, I'm going to need to talk to somebody because I don't feel confident nor comfortable in the position that I'm in. I was like, I want this to work, y'all, but being the fact that I haven't had any training, I don't feel confident, and it's starting to show. So basically I was like, maybe there's something else that y'all can, like a different department that I could possibly go to or something. Or can I just get a day aside? I'm willing to come in on my day off to even train. I was like, but just sticking me out here like this, and I told them beforehand, I was like, Daniel has been absolutely amazing. He's doing the best that he can to train me when he can. But that's kind of hard to do when people keep coming in. So, yeah, I sent out the email. Same day. Hiring manager come through. Everybody I put on the email basically came through. And the assistant general manager. I ain't never, in my 30 plus years of working, I ain't never seen a squad pull up for their employee like these people did at this hotel, y'all. Because when they all came, now they didn't all come together. One of the managers came and took me off the floor. Mind you, Daniel had absolutely no idea they was coming. And so he was like, oh. And so, the manager came and so he was like, hey, Miss Mika, how's it going? And I was like, snot. He's like, yeah, saw that email. He was like, can we talk? And so I was like, now, because the shift finna start. He said, yep, Daniel's here. Daniel can handle it. Daniel can do anything. And so I was like, you're right about that. Daniel can absolutely do anything and he can handle it. So he was like, well, he said, he's looking around. And he's like, well, let's go over here. We don't have to go all the way down to the office. Let's just go over here. Child, we went to the side. As soon as we went to the side, HR, lady from HR that I also put on the email, she pulled up. So she was like, oh, hey. Okay, I'm glad you're here. And so Matt was like, he said, well, I could take it. He said, or if you want to sit in on the meeting. She was like, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. What? Never have I ever, like I said before, I ain't never seen management pull up to the scene like they did. Okay? I'm talking about full force. Y'all. I left out of there. I had to go to the bathroom, get myself together because, you know, I'm a mushy thug in real time. Because really, I'm supposed to be here. This is what God got for me. Okay. At first, I didn't see the vision because my mind was not transformed. Only thing I saw was what wasn't happening. And I just knew that I didn't want no parts of it. I'm like, no, I'm not, can't, not going to be able to do it. Y'all, when I tell you they pulled up, oh, they pulled up, baby. So he was like, well, what's the problem? You know, you tell me exactly what can we do to help you? So he was like, you know, he said, because I was disturbed by your email. You know, he said, because I've noticed you. You know, he said, I've been in the cut. If you see me, you know, when I just walk by, you know, he said, yeah, I do walk by to make sure everything is okay. He said, but I don't know where the Mika is that I hired, the one with the bubbly personality. He said, that's exactly why I hired you. Because I'm like, if that's the first person they see before they even sit down, and she cracking jokes already, and she getting everybody to laugh, like, and he's like, I knew that you were in the right place. You know, so I was like, yeah, I said, but being the fact that y'all didn't train me properly, it don't feel like that. You know, I said, I can't be confident and comfortable if I don't know what I'm doing. I can give you customer service all day long. That's who I am. That's what I do. That's what she does. Okay. I can smile and give you all kind of compliments. But if you there to sit down and have dinner, baby, it's only so many times I can say, ooh, I like your dress, girl, before you be like, okay, thank you. Can we go sit down now? You know, so it was one of those, like, you know, I told him, I was like, I did not feel it. You know, I was very intimidated, definitely by the system. You know, I said, and once again, I told him, you know, I said, Dan, you can only do so much. I said, but we were open for business. So there was no way he was actually able to train me properly because people were coming up. They was coming in. You know, I was like, so today, you know, would have been a perfect time because we're kind of slow, but not really slow. So, you know, but I told them basically, y'all, I just basically told them, I was like, I just don't feel confident because I was not trained. You know, I was like, thank you. You know, so I'm quite sure you hired me off of my experience in customer service and my background in hospitality. I said, but all that does not matter if I don't know what I'm doing. How can I be efficient enough at my job if I don't know what I'm doing? So to kind of ad lib or make a long story short, this man said, we're here for you. And we're willing to do whatever it takes for you to feel comfortable being here. So if that means you got to come in on your day off, like you said, and do a little bit of training, because the restaurant downstairs also runs off the same system. He said, then let's do it. He said, but I want you to succeed. And I do apologize if we put you in a bad position to make you feel like you can't. He said, but I know that you will. And I know that you are. That's why I hired you. He said, I believe in you. I just need you to believe in yourself that you can get it done and that you can do it. And he said, and we're going to do it together. So you tell me what you need to succeed. What? A company that cares, girl, what they do that at? Say who? Like, I promise y'all, shocker alert, Chosen was speechless. Because I'm like, really? And so he was like, listen, he said, you know, I apologize as the manager. I apologize. I take all accountability for that. And he said, yeah, you did. He said, you started at the right time, but during the wrong circumstances. You know, he was like, so he said, and I'm not expecting you to know everything overnight. That's definitely not going to be a thing. You know, he said, it's going to take you a while to learn the system. I understand, and I got that. He said, but whatever it takes to help you to succeed and to be the best version of you, ma'am, we're going to make sure it gets done. Who? So he was like, so what's your strength and what's your weaknesses? So I told him, I said, well, for the most part, I know how to do, X, Y, Z. And he was like, okay, okay, that's the basic. That's the basic. That's all we need. That's all we need. He said, so you tell me what you need from us and it will be done. That's why everybody pulled up. He said, you not only did you put everybody on the email, he said, but now everybody knows that, you're having issues. He said, and clearly you want to be here, because if not, you could have easily said, this is my resignation and I'm done. He said, so it's the fact that you're eager and you want to learn. We're going to make sure that happens. So, y'all. So I went in yesterday and, I really was, defeated. I had already mentally checked out, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. But then, when I had that conversation with God before I went in, I was like, help me to be transformed by the renewing of my mind, because I'm not feeling it. It's doing something to me mentally. It's like, once again, like I said in the beginning, if you want me to be here, then we're gonna have to get it popping. Show me why I'm here. Why am I chosen to be in this location? What's really going on? Okay. So I will honestly say, yesterday, I enjoyed my job. Shocker alert. What happened from a week ago up until now, it felt comfortable. Confidence level hasn't reached the moon just yet, but I can honestly say that I felt a little bit more better. So we're on the 5th floor on the rooftop, and we clock in what we call the basement, because Lily is all the way down in the bottom. So yesterday, Daniel, the guy that trained me, so he was like, so on a confident level, on the scale of basement to 5, where are you? So this is about 5 o'clock-ish. I was like, I'm at a 3. He was like, okay, that's better than the basement. That's better than the basement. We doing good. And his energy literally just made my energy go to the moon. And I'm like, okay, so we literally fed off each other. Y'all. So he was like, okay, he said, this part you may not like. He said, but I was told to just scale back and watch you. He was like, so that way we can know what's your strongest points and what we need to really be trained on. So I was like, okay, I got it. So really, how that's in anywhere, repetitiveness is when stuff really starts to flow, right? So started doing the same basic things, like getting people in, getting them to tables. And it helped because yesterday, even though it was steady, it was slow. So it gave me enough time to really, really train. So I thank God for that. So we're going to see from last week up until yesterday. So far, so good. But like I said before, I'm thoroughly impressed with this management. Very, very impressed. Because I've never have I ever seen the Avengers and management assemble like that and rally together for their troops, also known as their staff. So very impressed on that. So yesterday it was given. I know, and it's amazing what a couple of days can do, but it only took 3 days for miracles to happen. So you know how God works on the mysterious ways, and there's no time frame on it. Okay, so that's my little story of my update of what's happening. So it went from not giving to it's almost giving. It's giving a little bit. It's something. Okay. Shout out to Alicia. It's giving sprinkles of something. But so I just want to give y'all the update. Why I also shared my haul. So not a haul, child. I went to CVS because remember I told y'all that I had my reward, so I'm gonna get a couple of snacks to go in. But then right across the street from that is the Family Dollar. So I went into Family Dollar to get the goldfish and the 10-pack of cookies because they I had my $5 off of 15 or something like that, child. I don't know. But I went and got the cookies. I think these are $5 something. Don't quote me. They were regular price. But these right here were like $3. So I spent really pretty much of nothing in there because they literally was across the street from each other. So I went in there, and then baby done cut the corner. Then I say, now today I didn't have a list. Shut up. Everybody, be quiet. I said what I said. Shut all the way up. Okay, so I went into CVS. Like I said, I didn't carry a list because when the funds is not funding. Like I said, I don't get paid until the 20th. But I knew, I looked on the app, so I knew what was on sale. So therefore I was like, okay, I can get all this for nothing. So I thought, but let me tell you. But I ended up going into Family Dollar, and like I said, and get those crackers and stuff. That's the only thing I was going to really spend money for, because like I said, it was right across the street from it. So I was like, well, I'll just go in there. So ended up y'all getting the darn wands, which all of y'all have pretty much have seen, and most of you been blessed enough to get it. So they had 3 of these that was $1.97. So yep. Thank you, Mother's Day. So not on the list, but definitely came home. Okay. But let me show y'all. So went to CVS, y'all. I want the eggs I'm feeling here. Went to CVS, and the candy, I was gonna get the candy and the Rice Krispie treats that I know that was like buy one get one. I think it's buy one get one half off, and it was one of them that was buy two get one free or something like that. So while I'm in the store trying, I looked at my app because I was like, I knew I had my $10 credit. I looked at my app, honey, and the second $10 credit hit today. So she had a $20 credit. Thank you. So, but what I really wanted, because I wanted to get the Rice Krispie treats, and I wanted to get like, a variety of candy. They in there deep, honey. They done took all the candy off the shelves. Like, good Lord. But I was able to find the Jolly Ranchers. These were buy one, get one half off. And I think the original price for these was $5.99. So I got this one and this one right here. And it has enough where, these are going inside eggs. These are the chews. I don't like the hard candies for whatever reason. So the chews is going inside there. Okay. So then got the Starburst. These, no, this was on sale for $4.99. I think the original price. I don't have the receipt. Yes, I do. Holla. Wrong one. This Family Dollar. I got to scan this receipt. I think these were $4.99, y'all. These were $2.99. That's what it was. It was on sale. So these were $2.99. Okay. So on sale. $4.99. And then God said, look down. Oh. $1.99. This is the last one. $1.99. $1.99. And these are the only ones they had, so you already know. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and so it's 10 of these a piece that's in here. Now, don't judge me, okay? Y'all, everybody be quiet. Mind your business, baby, because I already ate one, okay? But this is the size of them. So clearly I can put that in the front as is by itself. Only thing I'm going to get really is probably like Rice Krispie treats. That's kind of what I put in there. But then I got the regular, I think I got the regular Jolly Ranchers Fruit Chews. No. Welch's Fruit Snacks too. I got some of those. But those are my actual favorite snacks. So I already got some of those that I'm going to use. But, baby, what? $1.99 a piece? So my total ended up coming to $2.71. Because I brought some other stuff too that I personally needed. But yeah, my total ended up coming up to $2.71 out of everything that I brought. And I got enough candy where I could split everything up. So those baskets that I didn't have any snacks and candy in, I'm going to go ahead and fill those in now. This is going to be another one of those toddler things. Because the other one I had, I didn't like the box. So remember, I did this one. It's going to be the same thing. I just really just redid another box. So it's going to be the same exact thing. I'm going to do a replica of this one as well. This one is done. As you see, I already took the goldfish apart. Put the goldfish right there. The baby got some gummies in here in case they teething. And then that's it. That's all. Because this is a toddler basket. So I feel like I don't have to put like that many snacks or candy in there. Because it's basically a baby basket. So, but this one is done. Basically. And I'm finna just redo the same thing. Using the box that I literally just wrapped. So, that's it. That's all. So, it's kind of giving. It's kind of giving, y'all. But this is the box. Y'all saw me just wrap it. So, I'm finna go ahead and do the second one. I'm not going to hold you long. I'm already at 30-something minutes, child. That's team too much. But, okay. We'll pull up. I think I'm out Tuesday next week. I don't know. I got to wait for the schedule to come out. But, anyway, we're going to pull up on an actual live. I'm going to got a couple of shorts that I'm going to put out, too. So, YouTube will know that I'm still out here in these streets, okay? But, until next time, my friends, thank y'all so much for listening. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for everything. That was just the first day, so I'm going to hold on to that expectation moving forward, and just thanking God in advance for change. So, with that being said, my friends, this is a new video, so you already know what to do, okay? Many a call, few are chosen. Chosen one is you. If you decide to subscribe and become one of my study buddies, I appreciate you pulling up on your girl, okay? So I will talk to you next time. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Bye.